More painting momentum. Ah! No. Not raw. Well, I'll probably be giving the table a full cleansing anyway later. I don't like paint with water. Paint. Well, he'll need a bath later, but I'm gonna get more water for it. Mm. Look at the yummy calcium carbonate in our water. Because the water is all milky. It looks like milk, but it's really water. It does that. It takes a few weeks, not weeks, minutes for it to kind of dissipate into itself. It's kind of magical in a way. Yum yum calcium carbonate. You don't even need to buy anything with calcium carbonate. You just need to turn on the faucet and there it be. that out. I feel like some of it just got too gooby scooby on the canvas thing. So what we need is some more paint. I need another bite of oatmeal though. I might just go take a bite because I was kind of like, oh, I woke up later than I had wanted, and I was kind of cleaning, and I haven't ate very much except for that lovely cucumber tomato salad with the tahini dressing I made the other day. And when I batch prepped it, I finally ate the last that food I batch prepped. And yes, I could have taken it with me when I went places, but just to have it at the house, I'd like to do realistic batch prepping. I kind of want to talk about that one day. Like, what is realistic batch prepping that is something that people can do more realistically? I have thoughts about this. I don't think it's always realistic to pack a big lunch that you take to work with you every day. But I mean, you could take it a couple days, but I think people get too all or nothing mindset when it comes to meal prep. Hear me out. It's just annoys me so much. It's like, oh my god, I need to have everything all prepped out. I need to have all 5 days, all 6 days. I don't know. You work 10 days. I don't know. So yeah, you could meal prep, make a lot of food, and have it for dinner. And then if you take it 2 days with you, you're still eating out less, 2 days less than if you were just to eat out every day of the week. So I just like to aim more for realistic meal prep. Because yeah, I've been trying to take my lunch with me more, but let's just do it in a realistic kind of way, so it's not all like stressful. Like, oh my god, like I fell off my horse. I fell off my horse, and how am I gonna get back on? It's just like, I don't know. It's like one of those weird. People treat everything these days like I don't know, some sort of 12-step program. And I'm like, it's just meal prep. It's not that serious. It's not that intense. And yes, you can save money, but I think some of the people that over like honestly though, like okay, let's say you were to buy a lot of groceries and you meal prep everything and you're really really good. You're really super good. You're super super disciplined. Some of your produce is going to go bad in the fridge, and don't tell me it doesn't, unless like you just are like that good and you freeze everything. Like maybe if you have it down to a science, yeah, none of your food ever. But that's the side of meal prep that they never tell you, is like food goes bad because like if you're buying whole foods, real foods, like even meat, by the way, any kind of food, there's a whole food ingredient. Like I don't eat meat, I do the vegan side, but I'm just saying it doesn't matter unless it's like some prepackaged stuff. It's gonna have an expiration date, or it's just gonna go moldy, and you have to eat it fast. So sometimes you have to freeze it. I just feel like there's this obsession with, oh my gosh, I didn't meal prep perfectly. Like I'm in meal prep like jail and I didn't do it right. And I'm just like, let's meal prep in a more realistic manner. Like you could make a large batch of food, and if you don't take it with you every day to work, you could eat it in the evening or something. That's kind of my thought. Like I just don't like to stress out about things like that. I'm just like, really? Because look, all that meal prepping I did, it really served me well. I had food for like from Tuesday to like Sunday. I had that salad still, so it was pretty amazing. So I say batch cook, meal prep, but don't get all obsessive about it, and don't panic if it doesn't last you like every single meal for 7 days straight. Oh, hi Casey, how you doing? So this was another topic that was kind of coming up in social media, like the almond mom. And I guess this was a thing, but it was never my thing. They eat very little amounts of food. It's very portion restrictive. And I guess it's based on Weight Watchers. I never did any of that, so I didn't know. Like, I've heard about this, but I could say, like, I don't, it's not like a almond mom, but okay. So some people, like, if you are in families or with friends, like, will not have much of an appetite and they eat like barely anything, and then they think that that translates to everybody else. They think, well, if I am full on this little amount of food, then why isn't everybody else full on this little amount of food? So I think like almond mom's a good example. But I was just thinking, like, okay, you look at like Middle Eastern and Mediterranean people, like they eat olive oil, they eat all sorts of like things that people think on these diets, like the fatty diets. They're like, you can't eat that. You can't ever have like olives or olive oil because it has fat in it. I just don't think any of these like diets that are so prescriptive work. I think if you look like how the French eat, how the Japanese eat, how the Lebanese people eat, they all tend to have less obesity in their culture. A lot of it has to do with the fact, well, people just eat more natural foods and they're not like, it's changing with, with commercialization, westernization. It changes everywhere, but traditionally a lot of those cultures didn't have those issues because people just ate food, and yes, sometimes it had fat in it. Then they didn't panic like, oh my gosh, like olive oil salad would actually be healthy on your salad. you know an olive oil vinaigrette salad dressing would be healthy on the salad, healthier than just like dipping your little fork. Like, I didn't know this was a thing. Like, I guess Weight Watchers says you just dip like the fork a little bit into the fat-free salad dressing. Fat-free salad dressing is not good for you. You need one that has like whole fats and like olive oil. I prescribe, and like the Japanese, like they are very thin and they eat a lot of like sushi and seafood and greens, and they eat rice and they're not obsessing like about like, oh my gosh, like there's some fat in my food. Like, I don't know, I just want to eat more whole foods, and it actually really works, when you do it that way. And you could even like, I'm not the biggest fan of bread, but even if you make homemade bread, it's a little bit better than like the store-bought stuff. It's not as calorie dense on the sugar side. Mm. That's a good point. But I think like in a lot of the traditional cultures where people are still eating like that, the people like the elders live to a very long age, and it's just like it kind of makes me want to. Oh, you know what I love? Like, I just love Japanese. Like, I do the vegetarian vegan ones, but like the miso soup. Oh my gosh, that stuff's so good. It makes me want to go like make some miso soup one of these days. I need to try. I just haven't done that before. That's one thing I haven't made yet. Yes, they eat a lot of seafood. It's a very seafood dense diet. Pescatarian, I guess you could say. Thank you, Casey. I would pin your comment that I can only do that on StreamYard. I'm actually streaming inside of the um, YouTube app right now. So, and I've been experimenting with OBS, and I was talking with Aya about this because we did a live stream on her channel. My frustration with OBS is this: it's such a learning curve, and some people are like, OBS, I love it on a stick. I want to spend 12 hours a day, or they just, I don't know, like they do a lot of OBS, but I'm just like, you kind of have to have the real high tech. And honestly, like if I'm doing a stream, I don't like to be all like, I don't like to overthink it. Like, yeah, you can do a stream that looks really great and it's wonderful. Like, I do like the other webcam. Like, its microphone is really good. Okay, on that other cam, but it's really like temperamental because it's plugged into the computer, and I'd almost have to get another camera, a lot of different setups, like a microphone, all these. And I'm not saying I can't ever do that. It's just like a lot of the streamers, they're very they have a lot of specialized equipment that makes their streams look that way. And if you have like thousands of dollars to invest in all that, that's great. And like I'm kind of building up the tree more, giving it more dimension, like kind of making it bigger. So when I did that first painting last Sunday, to me, the way I kind of visualize that painting is kind of like my underpainting. It's just, it was too rough. I wasn't happy with it. Thank you, Casey. It's really a respect that you are a positive. I wish more people on social media were just like that because I mean, I was watching like a TikTok video where this woman was like, well, do people know what their sons are doing on social media? But I think it can go with like people of all ages. I don't think it's limited to teenage boys. I think this particular lady on TikTok thought, well, just teenage boys, like they're the ones that are doing this. But I've seen like people from all genders, all age groups just write very strange comments, like, and I don't even think it's an anonymous thing because some people are like, well, because they're anonymous, but I don't know, like some of the profiles went to people, and it was just weird. And I just think I don't know what it is that makes people write comments like that. Maybe those people also say things like that to people in person. I used to think, oh, like I used to be of the belief that, oh, people would just never talk to someone in real life like the way that they do on the internet. But I'm not so sure anymore because I have seen some weird like videos on social media, like, the whole Karen-esque kind of thing, and the whole can I speak to the manager kind of thing, and just a lot of strange behavior. And I saw like somebody argue with a police officer one day, like yesterday, because there was a parade and they had to turn around and they didn't want to go to and she's like, why? And I mean, I think both men and women in person and online, I don't recommend it. I just don't get the purpose of like spiteful or mean comments. Like, it doesn't make you a, like, what is it, like, what does it contribute to your day? I don't get it. But, yeah. So, like, this one lady on TikTok, she thought, well, it's mostly teenage boys and nobody else really does that. But I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've seen, it's not something that I want to do. And I'm just glad, like, there are people who don't do that, and a lot of people that don't do that. I think there's more people who are not into that sort of thing than the few, like, bad apples that want to come and write weird things on, just like when you get, I don't know, like, and I also have a filter, so like some of the really bad stuff just doesn't ever make, like, you're basically just shouting into a wind tunnel, like if you're gonna write something really stupid, because I just filter a lot of it out. Like if it's really bad, I'm just like, okay, well, there's certain things, like it won't ever see the light of day until I delete it. Like I saw one thing and I kind of wanted to laugh because it was really dumb. It was really stupid. Like this person told me something that was just so off the wall, and it must be more about themselves than me. And I don't even know what. It was strange, but it's always been like that. I think in person and on the internet. Like I remember, this was back in Hub Pages days. This was so far back. So, like back then, like more people would blog or they'd write online articles than doing like video format, even though you did some YouTube, but videos were just not that long back then. And people didn't always have the data or like the internet connection to watch a longer video. So it just wasn't as popular back then. So a lot of people who did things online, like they would write social media articles. So like a lot of us would write like Christmas gift idea articles on Hub Pages. And I wrote this one just about where you could find, this was back like when the Goodwill or thrift stores actually had good deals. Like it was a while back. It was like 2009. So I just wrote like an article showing like how on Amazon you could find like some things kind of like I had found at the Goodwill. Like it was this mirror that I still have on my wall. Well, my dad actually bought it for me. I didn't buy it. But like this guy came to my like article and he just sounded really upset. He goes, "You didn't write one word yourself." So I just responded. I said, "I don't know what you're talking about, but if you notice, like these pictures are all from my house, and I'm describing objects that I purchased or that my dad gave to me as gifts in my house, hanging on my wall." And I also described like these, because back then you used to have, like we have the Amazon storefront, which I talked about the other day, but you used to have like an Amazon affiliate program, which still is around, but back then you could put these little capsules in your article and it would just show different things like you recommended or that people could buy, and you would get like a little bit of an affiliate income from it. It was never anything grand. It wasn't like you'd probably have a really large scale following for it to be super grand. It was just a little bit of money here and there, like maybe enough to buy coffee or something. But this was the funny thing about it. Like, so I explained that to this guy, and then he came back. He goes, "I don't know, like why I thought that." He goes, "I just read some plagiarized articles and I was mad by the time that I got to your article." So here's the thing. Don't ever make assumptions. Like it's not good to assume anything. You should never make an assumption, ever. And I don't know. I've never read the 4 agreements, but I heard that was like one of the 4 agreements, never make assumptions. I don't know. I have no interest in that book. I'm just not going to read it. But, in general, just don't make assumptions. If you don't know something to be true, or even if it is true, my question is, what benefit do you get from posting that? And what benefit does that other person get from posting that? And if you're just posting something or saying something or doing something because, oh, this popped in my head and that's how I feel like in this moment in time, like put the brakes on it, buddies. Like, I don't know. And I just like, but in general, I just don't even really care because I guess real life and the internet, and I don't think it's just the internet. I think it can be real life too. There's always going to be a few people that like to make terse comments or do the trolling thing, or I don't know. You know how it goes. It's just society, life, I guess. So, but yeah, in my case, like if they want to get real weirdo, I have like some filters on, and then they're just talking to themselves. So, I don't know. And that's another thing we were talking about too. Like, let's say there's a topic you don't like or something you don't like. It's just like the guy that used to complain to the cable office, oh my God, the spring break girls, they're wearing bikinis. This is so not religious. I don't want my grandchildren watching that. Well, yes, this was in the 90s, so they just told him to change the channel. Very simple, right? Or nowadays, like on the internet, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this TikToker. They're wearing an outfit that really offends me. I don't like that. Or they're saying like bad words and I don't like it. Then watch another video. Like you have some self-control over your own like choices. And if you're sitting on the internet complaining about how other people do things, then what? But people do that in real life too. So yeah, I'm just like, I don't get it. But it is what it is, my friends. It is what it is. When I paint, I just kind of muse and talk. This is just some thoughts I have in my mind about these various issues. I don't even worry too much at the end of the day. I'm like, well, if some people want to spend their time on the TikToks or YouTube, like making silly comments, or they want to act like Karens at a supermarket because they think that, I mean, I saw a real life Karen one day who, okay, there's this local, like, it's just like a local little it's kind of like a sandwich shop. And they have these really cool, like, sodas, like just unique sodas with more like natural sugars and things, like just things you would never think to see anywhere else, like at a grocery store. Like I actually found a Jean Lafitte soda there one day. It was just so weird. And they have sandwiches and they have like a little bakery where they bake some pastries. So this lady, it's just kind of common knowledge among everybody who works there that they have like a rotating menu and it's not exactly precise. Well, there might be some precision to it, but I think you'd have to eat there every day to know exactly what it is. But they don't always have exactly the same thing there every day. And this lady was getting really upset with the people like at the counter, and she was telling them, why don't you have this sandwich? I like this sandwich. I got it like months ago. Where's this sandwich? This particular sandwich? Like, there was a sandwich that they made there once that I really liked, but I never saw it again. Like I like tofurkey, so sometimes I'd buy tofurkey, but they just make a particular sandwich with Brussels sprouts, some tofurkey, it had avocado. It was just like some sort of dressing on it. I think vinaigrette type dressing. So yeah, I really liked that sandwich. So, but I never saw it again, and I thought, well, I know that they kind of rotate their menu. Maybe they it's a vegan sandwich. It's not one of their best sellers. Like there are some people that will get the vegan option, but it's not everybody. So they just rotated it out. Like they probably don't make it anymore. So this lady was getting really upset, and she asked the girl working behind the store counter, well, why don't you make that sandwich anymore? Where's that sandwich? I want that sandwich. I want to buy that sandwich. And the girl kept trying to explain to her, they don't make that sandwich that day. So then she went and she made her get the manager. And I'm like, oh no, it's a kind of a Karen situation unfolding before our eyes. And she was demanding that the manager, I mean, I don't know what she wanted at that point. Did she want somebody to go back there and make her that sandwich? Because like sometimes at that point, like if they don't have something, just accept it and move on with your day. Like you could go home and make that same sandwich. It's just a sandwich. This is a little sandwich shop. It's just like a little local eatery thing. Like they close at 2:00 in the afternoon every single day. Well, before the pandemic, I think they used to close at 7, but It's literally just like a little mom and pop place. It's not like some franchise where they have, and they don't have that many people working behind the counter. I think they have like 2 or 3 people and maybe a couple people in the back. It's a really small little place. It's really cute though. It's called the Olive Market. I love it a lot. So but yeah, I was just surprised. I was like, I don't know why this lady's giving them like such a hard time. Like she wasn't screaming at them, but she was just being like kind of demanding. I just think like if they tell you after the second or third time they don't have something, they just don't have it that day. You could ask like, oh, if you really like something, this is my thought. If you really like something and you want to buy it there and you don't want to make it yourself, you could just ask, well, are you going to carry it again? Or is there a day that you make that particular sandwich? Like to me, that would be a way. Or just like at the grocery store, like we have supply chain issues right now, as everybody knows. And I've talked to my sister about this. Like there's certain things that they order, like grocery stores order large volume, but not everything. They can't get everything. Like there are certain things that are back ordered or they just have supply chain issues. So yes, you may have seen, like, look, this happened to me at Costco. There are certain things, but Costco is wholesale. There are certain things I love at Costco. I don't have a Costco membership, but I would go with my sister. I used to go with my parents. They don't really go to Costco anymore, but I love to go with my sister occasionally when she goes. And like, there'll be certain things that I really like that I get there, and I won't see them the next time because they're wholesale. Like they buy certain things in bulk, and maybe if like I don't, there was a video that explained why Costco has certain things that they have. Well, when I bought this one vegan ice cream bar, I never saw it again. Like you can get a small 3-pack at Walmart for like $4. It's so overpriced, but it's Oatly. It's the Oatly like caramel chocolate mocha. Oh my gosh, I think it's so good. But at Costco, it was such a good deal because you got like a 15-pack, I think, for like 11 something. So I bought it at the time because I'm like, I might never see it again. And I just assume there's certain things that if you see it then, you might not see it later. So if you want it, you should buy it. If you need it, if you really want it. Like, I'm not talking about impulse buying, but like for food, like if it's a certain thing, like at Costco or the supermarket, okay, if you want it then buy it then. Don't go back later and expect it to be there and then get upset that it's not. You know? It's just how the cookie crumbles in this world, you know? Nothing is guaranteed. Certainly not. But I really like how this trace evolving. My painting addiction's getting on point. In a few minutes, I need to hang up some clothing. My little alarm went off. But I might paint for a few more minutes. Paint for a few more minutes. Okay. I get a lot of energy sometimes. I don't know. My energy level is pretty high, but I also like to stay home a lot sometimes. I feel like my energy level's higher when I get to work on things that make me happy. Painting. And I'm very grateful to Aya because, like, when she started suggesting we do painting live streams, she got me into actually wanting to do more art because I feel like unless I have an excuse to do something, it doesn't always happen, and that's just a chat. It's kind of a travesty. Like you want to be able to do some art projects, and I think the good thing about like live streaming with friends who are into art is that it gets you like motivated to actually set aside time to do it. You know, it's a good thing. So if you want to like do more of an activity, I think if you set aside a specific time in which you are going to do that activity, it will actually get you into doing that activity, believe it or not. My arm is gonna. Oh, but we can keep going. Let's put to some of the darker colors and see what that can build it up a little bit more. Thanks, Casey. That part, I don't know what happened. Ugh. Okay. Okay, I need to take a break. I'll be back.